There is a moment, near the very beginning of the Tao Te Ching, when Laozi does something almost unheard of for a teacher. He warns you that he cannot say what he means. The Tao that can be spoken, he tells us, is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. With those first words, the whole book bows its head. It admits, before it has taught anything, that the deepest truth slips through language the way water slips through open fingers. And yet he writes on, gently, patiently, knowing that words can point even when they cannot hold. So what is this Tao that resists every name? The word itself means a way, a path, a road, but Laozi stretches it until it holds the entire universe. The Tao is the source from which all things rise and to which all things return. It is the quiet order beneath the seasons, the silent reason the rivers run downhill and the grass turns green in spring. It does not command. It does not boast. It simply gives rise to everything and then steps back, asking for no thanks. To live well, Laozi says, is to fall into step with this great unhurried way, instead of forcing the world to march to our own anxious drum. From this single root grow several ideas that braid through the whole book. The first, and perhaps the most surprising, is Wu Wei. The words are often translated as non-action, but that translation can mislead a listener. Wu Wei does not mean doing nothing. It means doing without strain, without forcing, without the clenched effort of a will that insists on its own way. Think of a skilled sailor who does not fight the wind but reads it and lets it carry the boat. Think of a gardener who does not pull on the seedling to make it grow faster. Wu Wei is action so aligned with the moment that it leaves no friction behind. The sage, Laozi says, acts without acting, and so nothing is left undone. Close beside Wu Wei lies the teaching of the fertile emptiness. Here Laozi turns our usual thinking upside down. We tend to prize what is full, what is solid, what is there. But he points instead to what is absent. A clay pot is useful, he reminds us, because of the hollow space inside it. A room becomes a room because of the empty space between its walls. The hub of a wheel holds the spokes, yet it is the hole at the center that lets the wheel turn. Emptiness, then, is not a lack. It is the very thing that makes usefulness possible. And the same is true of the mind. A mind too crowded with opinions and wants has no room left to receive the world as it is. Then comes the image that Laozi loved above all others, the image of water. Nothing in the world, he says, is softer or more yielding than water, and yet nothing is better at wearing away the hard and the strong. Water does not struggle. It seeks the low places that everyone else avoids. It takes the shape of whatever holds it. It bends around the rock and, given time, carves the canyon. In water, Laozi found a teacher of patience, humility, and quiet power. The highest goodness, he writes, is like water because it nourishes all things and competes with none. To be soft in his vision is not to be weak. It is to be alive, supple, and able to endure. These ideas point, finally, toward a way of living that Laozi called the return to simplicity. He saw clearly how desire multiplies. One wish breeds another, and the heart grows restless chasing what it does not need. So he praised the uncarved block, the plain piece of wood before the craftsman shapes it into something clever. He praised having few desires and small wants, not because pleasure is wicked, but because a life forever reaching outward forgets the fullness already present. To know that enough is enough, he said, is to be truly rich. Contentment is its own quiet treasure, and it cannot be bought. Underneath all of these threads runs a single, steady conviction, and it is worth naming plainly. Laozi trusts that reality left to itself tends toward harmony. The Tao does not need to be improved by our scheming. The world is not a problem to be conquered, but a current to be joined. So the task of a human life is not to seize and control, but to soften, to listen, to let go of the constant grasping, and to discover that when we stop fighting the way of things carries us. This is the gentle heart beating beneath every chapter, the faith that yielding can be wiser than winning. We have walked through the core ideas now, the unspeakable Tao, the effortless Wu Wei, the fertile emptiness, the patient strength of water, and the return to a simple, contented life. These are the bones of the teaching. But Laozi did not stop at ideas. He saw in them a whole vision of how the universe itself moves and breathes. In the next chapter, we will follow that vision outward into his picture of reality, where opposites lean on one another and everything in time returns to its root.